Thank you, member. Recognizing Port Moody Coquitlam.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We do find ourselves at an impasse. On the one side, we have the province of Alberta, which wants to support an industry which is a major part of its economy. On the other side, we have the province of British Columbia, which wants to protect our economy, our environment, and our coast from the devastating consequences of a diluted bitumen spill. Now, I understand Alberta's position. I don't agree with the position for many reasons, but I understand. What I did not understand is why the BC Liberals are taking such a strong position against British Columbia. They, after all, are supposed to be representing British Columbians. More and more, it seems that they are representing Alberta. But when I reflect on this, I remember that that party is not representing Alberta so much as it's representing the interests of the oil industry above everything else, above the environment, above climate change, above the economy, above jobs, above the interests of this province. That is why, when they were in government, they went to Alberta to get advice from the oil industry in drafting climate change policy. They held 5 secret meetings in Calgary. And let's be clear about this. There was a climate leadership team that consisted of 17 industry, First Nations, and environmental experts that worked for many months drafting recommendations. They were subsequently ignored, and a new plan was drafted with input from the oil industry in Alberta. So it comes as no surprise when Kinder Morgan issues a press release. Once again, the BC Liberals are called into action. And they are now fighting as hard as they can for the interests of Kinder Morgan, for the industry that continues to tell them what to do, just as they were told what to do behind closed doors in Calgary not so long ago. They represent the oil industry above all else. Our government understands that all sectors of the economy are important. Sectors like commercial fishing, port activities, ocean transportation, tourism, recreation. These are important as well, all of which would be affected by a diluted bitumen spill. The City of Vancouver commissioned an economic study that looked at just these 5 ocean-dependent industries, and they found that they generate more than $6.7 billion of economic activity and support more than 36,000 jobs in Vancouver alone. And when you consider our very successful film industry, which could also be affected by an oil spill, that would include another 60,000 jobs. The BC Liberals don't seem to be worried about these jobs. They're worried about a single industry, in fact, just a single company in that industry above all else. In BC, we were recently awarded supercluster funding from the federal government to support the growing tech sector in BC. Hundreds of millions of dollars of investment will be going towards supporting innovation across a broad spectrum of sectors in this province. This will support industries of the future, industries that are growing and creating jobs across this province. We are world leaders in many areas of technology. In virtual reality, augmented reality, we are also home to 25% of Canada's clean tech companies. And in 2018, we had 13 companies in Canada on the top 100 list of global clean tech companies. And almost half of those were in BC. What would it take for this party to support these industries? Perhaps it would take a press release from Kinder Morgan. That seems to be where they get their direction. Mr. Speaker, our economy is about more than just one single project or one single company above all else. Our economy is broad and diverse, and it is strong. And this project puts our economy at risk. It puts our environment at risk, and we need to protect against that risk. An analysis commissioned in 2015 stated that, and I quote, "Changes to diluted bitumen density and viscosity within the first few days of the release may render oil spill response systems ineffective." Ineffective. That is what we are concerned about. And that is why this government is doing the responsible thing.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madam Speaker.